Over 25% of all students and children, in fact, living in the United States today are being raised by single parents. Stay tuned. It's a very important topic. Welcome to Joy in Our Town here in Greater Denver, Colorado. I'm Dr. Ben Carlson, and I'm filling in as host for today's program. The topic is really very close and dear to my heart because it involves a little bit of what I've gone through myself. With me is our guest, Bill McLeod. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you, Ben.
Bill is a single father. He has actually radio program and does some counseling on the radio, I guess, and information, a public spokesperson, I guess.
A little inspiration along the way.
There you go. He conducts seminars, workshops nationally, because you're a full-time father of 2 children.
I'm a blessed father of 2 children. Yep.
And that's saying it all right there, isn't it?
Thank you.
Tell me how that happened, because it wasn't going to happen that way, right?
Well, it wasn't supposed to happen that way either. And I back in 2003 was living what most people would consider the American dream. You know, a beautiful wife, lovely family, nice home, successful business. And then all of a sudden it became pretty apparent that my children's mother, wife at the time, had a problem with alcoholism. Well, alcoholism leads to a series of different events for all of us. And in my case in particular, it led to interventions, it led to rehab centers, and without any success there, it eventually led to the separation and the divorce of the children's mother and I, Sarah. And so that was my first step into being a single parent. I'll never forget, I was in court one day for the separation agreement, and the judge said, "Now I understand Mrs. McLeod has an issue with drinking." And the attorney said, "Yes, she did." And he said, "Well, as of today at 3 o'clock, Mr. McLeod, you're the sole custodian of your children." Well, I have work the next day. I have a job. Do they have homework? What is going to go on here? So it became right then and there a kind of a crash course on how do you become a single parent. And so we just did the best that we could in raising the children. I did, and looked for help and tried to do those things that were most important to my kids at that time. And we did it relatively well, I hope. We'll find out later in life, Ben. But at the end of the day, Sarah couldn't overcome her battle. And back in 2007, June of 2007, their mother passed away. So the kids and I have been full-time for quite a while now, and again, as I said, I consider myself blessed to be a single parent because I have this opportunity that not everybody gets to have, and that is that I get to see my children all the time. I get to be with my children all the time, and hopefully, if I do it right, I actually get to raise my children the right way.
And yours is an experience that probably is not like a lot of others.
No, it's not.
And you do speak to the general population of single parents.
I do. I try to reach out to, there's approximately 20 million single parents in this country. In Colorado alone, there's 269,000 single parent households. And so what I've made it passionately with my mission is to try to reach out to all those single parents and inspire them, motivate them, educate them, and let them know that they're not alone. There's a lot of us out there doing the same thing, and as difficult as it can be sometimes, there's an opportunity for us to all do it the right way for our children at the end of the day if we just make the steps and the efforts to do so. And I do this through my radio program, and I do it through the website singledadstown.com, as often as possible.
Tell us about your radio program. First off, you air right in the Greater Denver area.
We're in Denver on 710 KNUS. We're broadcast simultaneously through CBS Online. So the reach is amazing. And not only do we have callers from Denver, but I'll receive emails from all over the world. I received an email from a gentleman in Norway, a woman in Israel, a gentleman in Canada. So really the reach of the internet, as we all know, really allows me to go out and try to help everybody that I possibly can, regardless of where they are.
And what are you trying to do on your radio program?
Really just bring some inspiration to single parents, to bring education. And the guests I have on there are primarily all single parents, from celebrities to experts, if you will, in the field, to everyday mom and dads. And just to, I think what we all have to do occasionally as a single parent, or as a parent in general, is that we have those difficult moments. And when we have those moments, somebody has to just step up and remind us that, you know what, this too shall pass. It will be okay. You know, like life of a single parent is chaos, so you better get used to chaos right off the bat, you know, and just deal with it.
Parenting itself could be chaos, and it can be overwhelming.
Right.
As a single, it can probably double. I guess the question is, obviously, I think it was intended that every child have two parents.
It was.
Is it good for families to try and stay intact, at least with raising the children, some time with mom, some time with dad?
I think it's imperative. You know, your children are going to love the parent no matter what you may feel of your ex or the father or the mother of that child. Those children will always love that other parent. And what happens, I think, so often with parents is they get into this internal debate or bickering or argument with each other because things didn't work out for them. I'm a firm believer, I tell parents all the time, is that when you're trying to co-parent your children, you have to stop working as adversaries towards each other and work as common allies for your children. Because at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. I tell people, I tell my children, you're going to give me my grandchildren, so I'm going to do my best that I possibly can to raise you the best we can to give us good grandchildren somewhere as well.
Now, what about children that could use an ex against them? I mean, I've been through the situation where you get away with things in one household and not in another.
Right.
How do you deal with situations like this?
You know, a lot of that is, again, it's effectively trying to co-parent properly. And one of the most important things I think all parents do, divorced parents, if you will, is to really sit down and make a contract amongst yourselves that we are here for the children at the end of the day. Our communication has to be, how we communicate with each other is being viewed by our children. You know, we as parents, single or not, model for our children each and every day. And if we don't model properly as two non-together parents, if you will, we're going to have, our children are going to have an issue with that later on in life. And so one of the suggestions I have for people is if you're having a difficult time talking with your ex, or you're finding that your ex is doing things, the Disneyland dad syndrome that people like to talk about out there, is it's important sometimes just to write a letter to your ex, or write down the main points that you want to communicate with your ex and have a conversation outside, away from the children, and to lay out a game plan, what it is exactly that you want to do together so that your children are the beneficiary.